प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला।
The first Buddhist Chief Justice of India, the second Dalit Chief Justice of India, but someone who for me has given remarkable judgments, whether it's the Article 370 case, whether the electoral bonds judgment, or even whether it's the shoe attack case that I had to even ask him about. I welcome on the show the 52nd Chief Justice of India, Justice Bhushan Ramkrishna Gavai. Justice Gavai, who's going to be welcomed here on the show. Justice Gavai, namaste.
Namaste, good morning.
Good morning. Very fine, sir. Thank you for being a part of the show today with us, sir. Sir, as I told you, we want to ask about your remarkable judgments, your legacy, the legendary judgments you've passed. But I want to begin at the very start. For you, you don't come from a legal background. You come from a small village, a semi-slum-like area. You went to a municipal school in Amravati. Tell us a little bit about those times.
I was born in Amravati, and my father had plunged into social and political activities right from his student days. So the things were not that easy that time. So I started my schooling in a municipal school in almost a semi-slum area, where we were required to sit on the floor on daris. And thereafter, after some time, my father became MLC in 64. Then 68 he became deputy chairman of the council, and then after we shifted to Mumbai.
Yes.
Initially in Mumbai I had my schoolings in Marathi medium, that's Chikitsak Samo. Later on I shifted to Holy Name after 8th.
Yes.
So I did my matriculation from there. Then I studied in HR College of Commerce.
Yes.
And then I did law partly from the Government Law College Mumbai.
Yes,
And the Punjab Deshmukh Law College Amravati.
Justice Gavai, good colleges these, but nowhere have you got a sense of any nepotism or lawyers in the family. Yes, there was a sense of social activism. 1985, you were enrolled into the bar, you practiced in Nagpur, you were an assistant public prosecutor, then a public prosecutor. What were those early years like of struggle?
So I initially started practice in Mumbai.
Okay.
Yeah, in 1985.
Right.
So I was in Mumbai till 1990, and then I shifted to Nagpur in 1990.
Yes.
So I had got a good senior in Mumbai, Barrister Raja Bhosle. So I got a good opinion. I had a good practice at Mumbai also, but then I was advised by the former Advocate General, so Mr. A.S. Bobde and Mr. V.R. Manohar, who were, Mr. Manohar is still here.
Yes.
So they are the great lawyers from Nagpur,
Yes.
and one of the best in the country. So they advised me to shift to Nagpur
Yes.
because I belong to Amravati. They said that if you practice in your own area,
Yes.
you will grow up earlier there, and I think the advice proved to be correct.
Yes.
And after shifting to Nagpur in 1990 at the instance of Mr. Manohar,
Yes.
I became AGP, Assistant Government Leader, for 1 year. So I worked as that for a period of 1992 to 1993.
Right.
Then within 1 year I resigned and started and developed my own practice.
Yes.
And I built up a good private practice. Then in 2000, Mr. Bobde, the former Chief Justice of India,
Yes. Yes.
he advised me that I should accept the office of the Government Pleader Nagpur.
Okay.
Because I was clear from very beginning that if I get to become a judge of the High Court at an early age,
Right.
I would accept that.
Right.
And he said that if you become a government pleader, the channel would be different and you would get a chance to become a High Court judge at an early age.
Right.
So Mr. Vilasrao Deshmukh was the Chief Minister, so he had also offered me.
Yes.
I accepted it on the condition that out of the total number of assistant government pleaders, half would be appointed by me on merits and half on, of course, the political consideration.
Yes.
And I'm happy to share that out of the 12 young lawyers that I appointed,
Yes, sir.
4 or 5 are on the bench now.
Oh, lovely.
One of them a senior judge
Okay.
of the High Court.
Okay, of the Bombay High Court.
He is presently at Delhi now.
Okay, who is he, sir?
Justice Sambre.
Oh, lovely, lovely. That's amazing. So you did administrative and constitutional cases. As a judge of the Supreme Court and High Court, they helped you deeply. What was your initial years like that impacted you and drove you towards the judiciary and becoming a judge?
As a lawyer, there are limitations. You can earn a lot of money, and in addition to that, my father was also of the view that initially he was also inclined, I was also inclined that I should go in politics, but I think then I was not cut out for it. So he said that if you continue in practice, you'll only earn money, but if you become a judge, you can contribute in fulfillment of Dr. Ambedkar's dream of social and economic justice. So that was one of the motivating factors, and I got an opportunity at relatively young age. As a matter of fact, I was offered much earlier by Justice B.P. Singh, who was the Chief Justice. But then at that time I was not yet 40.
I
had to wait for 2-3 more years.
Today, when you go to Maharashtra, you're fondly called Bhushan Bhau. Do you think you have a future in social activism, in politics in Maharashtra?
Not yet thought about anything, because I just not even a week that I have retired, and so I just want to have some cooling period. But I do intend to do some social service, particularly for the tribals in Amravati district, because whenever I used to go for election campaigns of my father before my elevation, the Melghat area where there is a where the tribals reside, that they are very close to my heart.
And you've seen he was the governor in Kerala, in Bihar.
And for a short time he was having an additional charge of
Sikkim also. So you've seen these areas closely.
Not Sikkim, I've seen Bihar and Kerala.
So when you were growing up, what was the discourse that you had at the dining table like?
So my father, he was a devotee of Dr. Ambedkar. He was though not a lawyer, he wanted to be a lawyer, but he could not become a lawyer because of his plunge in social and political activities. But whenever he had a time, because he was always on the move, so we used to talk about the problems of the society, the problems of the scheduled castes, the scheduled tribes, and he always was of the view that everybody should contribute for the upliftment of the downtrodden.
Do you think in your short span of 6 months, you've been able to achieve any concrete steps that you had wished to before you became the Chief Justice, Justice Gavai?
I do think that whatever I had prepared a roadmap that if I get an opportunity to be CJI for these 6 months and odd days, whatever I had planned, I think I could achieve that.
Wonderful. What was the key things that you had wished to achieve, Justice Gavai?
Of course, the judgments.
Yes, which I'm going to come to in great detail. In fact, we can begin with that. The bulldozer judgment, which I also think is one of those judgments which is remarkable. I also think, in fact, I must mention here, I always feel pleasantly surprised when I hear Justice Gavai's words when it came to passing caution on the state agencies and ED, enforcement directorates, ways of functioning at certain times. Were you not afraid that you were going against the government when you were doing so?
No. When you are a judge, you are not supposed to be afraid of anything. You are required to decide as per your own conscience, as per your own oath, and as per the law that you understand. And when you feel, or when while looking at the facts of the case, you find that a particular agency is going overboard and out of the way, then I don't think that the judge should be afraid of saying something or writing something in the judgment which would not be to the liking of anyone.
I think remarkable judgments were also passed when it came to giving bail to sometimes opposition leaders, but even otherwise you made it very clear bail is the norm in India, not jail. Yet we see the lower courts sometimes are not very eager to give bail. The matter goes to the High Court, then it comes to the Supreme Court. What is your recommendation for judges in lower courts?
No, because I have, in one of those judgments, or many judgments which I had an occasion to deliver in a short span of period concerning the prolonged incarceration of politicians.
Yes.
I held that a prolonged incarceration without trial
Yes.
could not be permitted to be a sentence without conviction or without trial. And bail is a rule,
Yes.
refusal is an exception
Yes.
that we have heard from the days we are students of law. Unfortunately, the trial courts are afraid they want to play. I'm not saying about everyone. And at that time, the train was also so much on the other side, and they wanted to maybe err on a safer side. But now I am told after the series of judgments which were delivered by various benches during that period, the trend has changed. I am told that whenever I travel to other states that the trial courts are now inclined to, even the trial courts are inclined to grant bail even in such economic offence matters.
I want to just deviate from your cases, sir, and go to one very important case since you are from Maharashtra. This is a case that I have personally got documents on, the Justice Loya case. When it came to the Supreme Court and the judgment was passed, I saw wonderful testimonies which clearly showed that there was no wrongdoing in the case, and Justice Loya, in fact, there were no motives in this case, but a certain lobby tried to attribute motives. You're from Maharashtra, you had said at that time you had met him. How do you look at this motivated lobby and always the way it tries to persecute in each case? What I wanted to say is, what struck me was they are looking down upon 164 statements by their own fellow judges, lawyers, senior lawyers looking down and questioning judgments, 164 statements by their own judges.
I think this trend of criticizing the judges when the judgment is not to the liking of some persons, some lobbies, it harms not only the judiciary but entire nation. Insofar as Loya case is concerned, now I am no more in office. I have had a satisfactory tenure of
45 years?
40 years, 41 years as a lawyer and a judge,
Yes.
and more than 22 years as a judge. Insofar as Loya case is concerned, there was a wedding in the family of one of our colleagues. Her son was getting married, and Mr. Loya, along with two of his friends, had come to attend that wedding. So we were together that evening at a reception. Then I was the administrative judge that time. The then Chief Justice, Justice Loya, had also come for the wedding. And at around 6 o'clock, I got a call from the protocol people, and one of the colleagues, Justice Shukre, and he told me on telephone in Marathi. He used to call me elder brother, Dada. There is a bad news. Mr. Loya, who had come for the wedding, he suffered from a heart attack and now he's hospitalized. So, and I requested him because he was to come down, because to wait for a driver would have again wasted some time. So he came within 5 minutes. We drove to the hospital, and we took to the doctors, spoke to the doctors, and all of them said it was a massive cardiac. So then I inquired with the two of his colleagues who were with him in the same room. They were, all three of them were sleeping in the same room.
Yes.
And two of them subsequently became judges of the High Court. One of them has retired, one of them is still sitting. And they said, sir, after the function we had come back, we also went to have a pan. And then while chit-chatting in the night, he suddenly started showing signs of panic. We took him to the hospital, which was nearest hospital, Dande Hospital. But he was advised to be taken to the hospital where cardiac facilities were available. And after he was brought to the hospital, the doctors tried their best, but they could not save him. And then there were two views that time as to whether the PM should be done or not, because according to doctors, it was a death due to cardiac attack.
Yes.
But then it was, in the meantime, Justice Mohisha was the Chief Justice. He also arrived, the other colleagues arrived. All of them were there. We spoke to his family, which was at Bombay, and they requested that his body should be sent to his native place.
Yes.
It was, I think, Latur in Marathwada. So we arranged for, first the PM was done. After that, we arranged his body to be sent to his native place. Along with, we sent our 2 judicial officers, the police escort party. And I don't know why, because whatever allegations are there, they are for the political purposes. And this was also examined on a judicial side by the Supreme Court.
Yes, very much.
Yeah, in a judgment authored by the then Justice Chandrachud,
yes.
he has also referred to all these allegations.
All these, and I remember even before it came forward, we had those.
And he had clearly stated that this was an attempt only to malign the High Court as an institution and some judges in particular.
There were certain judges who were questioning the judges themselves. Why do you think those judges were questioning their own brother judges at that time?
In fact, Justice Mohit Shah came on the scene much later there.
Right.
Yeah, I was there much prior to Justice Mohit Shah coming in the hospital.
Right.
And I think all those allegations against Justice Mohit Shah were totally unwarranted.
Yes.
And because of those allegations, he also underwent quite a, not a happy time, I can say. Unfortunately. A very good judge, a very good Chief Justice. Unfortunately, he couldn't come here, though he richly deserved to be here.
Justice Loya was looking at the Sohrabuddin case. I've worked on that closely, but only because he was on that case, this lobby tried to malign his reputation, link his death to that case, make it about certain members of the political dispensation. I've also seen in the Ayodhya case the same lobby, the same members, and I have no qualms in mentioning them, whether it's Mr. Prashant Bhushan, whether it's Mr. Rajiv Dhawan, senior advocate, whether it's now not practicing Dushyant Dave. I've seen them personally. I've spoken with them several times. It is the way they function, sir. Isn't there something that can be done? I also know that you had done once upon a time a case for 1 rupee against Mr. Prashant Bhushan in some contempt case. Today you believe the majesty of law is forgiveness.
No, there also we did not send him to prison even for a day. So that's also again a majesty of law.
But I think it's becoming so dangerous that international rag magazines, because I don't think Washington Times and New York Times, who pick up any case, whether it's the Umar Khalid case hearings in India, and start talking about it, these rag magazines have an agenda to try and besmirch our judiciary. And these people go and speak there. Some action needs to be taken against this social media army.
I have been consistently saying that this social media, they publish anything out of context.
Yes.
Whatever you say in court, even in a lighter manner, is given totally different color.
Yes.
And sometimes even the images are morphed.
Yes, yes.
So I've been saying that something needs to be done by the executive, by the parliament to curb on misuse of social media.
Definitely.
And insofar as the individual names which you are referred to, I won't like to comment anything.
No, I don't mean to comment on just them. I mean, they are just some of them. I'm not talking about just them. There are so many more activists, NGOs. Some of them you've given bail to, whether it's Teesta Setalwad, who I have no particular liking for. But of course,
the judges can't decide on the basis of their liking.
I agree.
Yeah. We thought that, and we rightly thought that she deserved to be granted bail, and we granted bail at 10:30 in the night.
Yes, I'm aware. With your 2 brother judges, you sat and it happened. But there has been fraud by these people, whether it was cases that have been done or not. Those are different matters.
No, I won't like to comment on that.
So I don't, in fact, it's not even a question I was thinking about, sir. Coming to your cases, the bulldozer case, fantastic judgment, again, very righteous. Tell us a little bit about it.
Bulldozer judgment, we had noticed, it was brought to our notice that in certain states, the executive was resorting to bulldozing the houses of the persons who were accused in certain crimes. So we held that by such an action, not only you are penalizing that particular person and entire family, the parents, the children, the brother, sister who are residing in their house, they are all being penalized. And the law is very clear that the person is presumed to be innocent unless he is convicted. And even after conviction, you can't demolish his house. After conviction, he may be sentenced to, say, life imprisonment, he may be sentenced to death also. But how can you demolish somebody's house without following procedures prescribed by law? And we held that right to shelter was a fundamental right. I started the judgment with the poem of poet Pradeep.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And we laid down various guidelines as to what the procedure should be followed by the executives, authorities while resorting to demolition, the principles of natural justice, hearing, then an appeal. And we also held that if any officer violates it, he will be guilty for committing contempt of the court. And apart from that, the state would be bound to reconstruct the house and recover the same from the hearing officers.
But there's a contempt by several states.
Yes, I have been asked why there is contempt and the contempt is not decided. I have replied that with a limited time that I had, I could decide whatever cases as per the priorities mentioned by the lawyers. And but as has already been said by me on the bench also, that the better course would be good to go to the High Court, because the High Courts are better equipped. They can call the officers there.
Even the Waqf case, what do you think? You were a part of the bench that has decided that only certain differences are there in the Waqf law for the interest of society, they need to be looked at. But the larger picture in the Waqf Act, which is now the law of the land, was for something that you're very fond of, the common people. Still people, political parties keep coming to the court on the Waqf Act, not realizing it's actually in favor of the larger section of society. Aren't you seeing this growing trend of political patronage to a lot of petitions that are being filed, whether it's Article 370 or the Waqf case?
No, I don't want to comment on that.
But should politicians keep coming to the court?
We have decided the matter with regard to grant of interim relief. We have found certain provisions of the statute to be violative of the prima facie violative of the Constitution and state their operation. And the rest of the enactment we have found to be not the one which deserves to be stayed.
The electoral bonds case, three-judge bench including you had spoken on that to bring more transparency in politics. This is something that's going to draw better good, because the anonymous funds that were being given to different political parties was being questioned by everyone and was leading to a lot of corruption in the entire system.
No, we were of the view that the voters have a right to information. They have a right to knowledge, and therefore they have a right to know as to which political party gets the funds from which business house or which individuals.
Remarkable judgment. We're also now going to ask Justice Gavai to take us to the front lawns in his lovely place of residence.
Which I will get to stay for some more months.
Which is lovely. Yes, we shall. Let's go there now. Justice Gavai, of course, a question to every judge. How good is the collegium system? You have made over 100 judges, I think.
107 in the High Court and 12 Chief Justices. And 5 in the Supreme Court.
That's a great number, sir. But one of the judges of the collegium in August this year had an issue, Justice Nagaratna, with one judge's name that was given. At one time, we also saw that there was a certain judge who was elevated on request of the government. How opaque is the system and how far can it go ahead now?
No, which is the judge who was elevated at the request of the government?
Justice Sridharan was, there was a...
No, that's with regard to transfer.
Transfer, yes, that was, yes, not elevation, but the transfer was at the request of the government. So two different things, but there is certainly a growing trend of opaqueness in the collegium which is being questioned. And even transfer of judges is happening at a rapid pace.
No, so see, I'll take the first the issue with regard to dissent by one of the learned judges in the collegium with regard to elevation of one candidate. The collegium, takes into consideration various aspects of the matter. The inputs of various consulting judges, then the Chief Justice with regard to transfer are also taken. Insofar as the name which was considered for the Supreme Court is concerned, one of the collegium judges did have certain concerns about the name of that candidate. But then we had also consulted the consulting judges who had an occasion to see the functioning of the candidate while he was functioning in Gujarat High Court. Then from the judge, from the consultant judge who was in the Supreme Court, from Bihar State, who had an occasion to see the functioning of him as a judge in the Patna High Court.
Okay.
And we had also taken into consideration various other inputs. We had made our own inquiry.
Right.
And after consideration of everything, all the 4 judges found that he deserved to be elevated. And the judgment of the Supreme Court, the Constitution Bench, in a precedential reference says that if the recommendation is made by 1 to 4, it's a valid recommendation. Had there been an opposition by 2, then it would have been a different matter. But all 4 were on the same page that he deserved to be recommended, and he is now working as a judge. Insofar as transfer is concerned, initially the judge concerned, we had proposed him to be transferred to Chhattisgarh High Court. But later on, no doubt that the government also expressed concern, and we also unanimously found that he is a senior judge, his services would be better utilized in a bigger high court rather than a smaller high court. So all this Allah is, I think, without any substance.
But do you think the collegium system will continue? They say India is the only place that has the collegium. We should have a system where there is more consultation with the government.
Here also there is consultation. It is not as if that only 3 or 5 of us sit in a chamber and take an arbitrary decision. After Justice Sanjeev Khanna became the Chief Justice, we have also started interacting with the candidates. So we get to know the candidates. At least we interact with them for any time between 15 minutes to half an hour. And then inputs are taken from the consulting judges, the High Court judges also, while recommending them, take into consideration various factors. The inputs of the executive, like the IB, the Law and Justice Department, the Chief Minister, the Governor, all are taken into consideration, and thereafter we take a final decision. And according to me, in order to maintain the independence of judiciary, the collegium system is the best suited in the present period.
Okay, you've often said there should be judicial activism but not judicial terrorism. What does that mean, Justice Gavai?
See, from 1980s or 1970s, even the postcards were entertained as the suo motu petitions. The Supreme Court said that though normally the rule of locus has to be followed, but in certain cases when marginalized sections of the society on account of their socio-economic backwardness are not in a position to approach the court, in such an event the locus would be diluted, and some person on their behalf can bring their cause to the court. So whenever in such cases the court acts, I think the judicial activism is to be there, because like the Bandhuwa Mukti Morcha case, where the bonded laborers were made to live a life worse than the animals. Or there are many other cases wherein we are required to even take suo motu cognizance also. You see the work done by the Supreme Court in TN Godavarnam for protecting the environment, the forest, the wildlife, the work done in the series of MC Mehta's, at least because of the orders passed in MC Mehta, your AQA is severe or very poor. If the court would not have intervened, just imagine what would have been the situation.
But Delhi, sir, if I can take a detour, is pitiable, with the AQI. We're all worried for our children. What do we do?
We are worried for ourselves also.
Ourselves, yes.
I read in today's newspaper, the present Chief Justice of India saying that he went for a walk in the morning and then he was feeling somewhat not. What
do we do for this air pollution? Please guide us. The case keeps coming in the Supreme Court year by year.
We have been trying to do our best. In last of my orders, I found that one of the reasons was that the controlling, like the pollution control boards, were not equipped with the manpower. There were a large number of vacancies. So I had issued directions. Not only that, I have taken undertakings from the state governments, from the central government, that all those vacancies will be filled in a time-bound manner. So at least to some extent the problem can be addressed. But there has to be a unified approach, a unified resolution wherein all the stakeholders should be brought together and some solution has to be found. Because the court itself can't do everything.
That's true, that's true. A few days ago, the court...
If you know what happens in these matters, everybody gets up only during Diwali period.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now I have passed an order that all the stakeholders will meet regularly and they will report to the court every month. So rather than getting up at the last moment, we can start some precautionary measures throughout the year.
Yes, yes. I think that would be wonderful if that actually happens.
That order I have already passed, so
Yes.
I do hope that my the successors in the
No, we're going to follow up on that very closely because we do need the air to be purer in Delhi. Okay, I go to my next question. I had asked you that I would be asking you about Article 370 also, historic judgment. Something which is now the law of the land. It came under a lot of opposition. You were a part of that bench. Tell us a little bit about how that judgment came about.
No, all five of us were on the same page. So if you go through the debates of the Constituent Assembly,
Yes.
the speeches of everyone, including Dr. Ambedkar. Dr. Ambedkar, while discussing about the nature of our Constitution, the federalism of our Constitution, he stated that our federalism is totally different from the American federalism. In America, you have a Constitution for the entire federation as well as a different Constitution for the different states. Then in America, you have a dual citizenship. You are a citizen of USA as well as you can be a citizen of Virginia or
Yes.
Maryland for that matter.
Yes.
But in India, he said there will be only one constitution and only one citizenship. Everyone, be he resident of India, of Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta, Manipur, will be citizen of India. And therefore, this we notice that only in respect of one state there was a different constitution.
Yes, yes.
And Dr. Ambedkar in one of his speeches said that whenever the dignity of nation comes, the dignity of any ideas, the dignity of any individuals, the dignity of any political parties, the dignity of any political ideologies should go away, and it is only the dignity of the nation that should be predominant.
Yeah.
So in effect, we brought one India.
You've been the Chief Justice of India. We've seen the attack that happened in Pahalgam. I ask you, as a very eminent personality in India, we've seen the Red Fort attack. We speak about these words which are so beautiful on paper, but what is the message that needs to go out when we are seeing white-collar terrorism, whether it's doctors or engineers that become involved in such terrorism activities, sir?
It's very unfortunate that the persons who are educated, who should rather than serving the country are indulging in such things. And therefore we have on both the occasions shown solidarity with the country. When Pahalgam happened, the then Chief Justice, Justice Khanna was not in India. So with his consent, we kept silence for 2 minutes in the courts. And insofar as the attack at the Red Fort is concerned, coincidentally that day we had a full court reference. So in that reference also we kept silence in memory of all those who had lost their life in such a unfortunate act.
We also have the Delhi riots case hearing in the Supreme Court. Umar Khalid and others, whom I personally have no particular liking for, I do believe this is one case that they need to be in jail
I can't
You will not
comment
speak
here.
on it. I was wondering whether Justice Gavai is going to speak on it or not, because I believe these are terrorists under the UAPA Act.
I can't comment
You can't
anything
comment
on which is a sub judice before.
Understood, sir. I won't get you towards that recent controversy. But of course, a backlash that you faced in the Lord Vishnu case, it became an observation that was not even made, but it was questioned so much. Sanatan Dharm became the new questioning. People started waxing eloquent about observations made in the Supreme Court. First, I want to understand from you, did that disturb you? Because there was so much said about your comments.
I don't look at social media, and sometimes half a minute or so. And I was never bothered about what comments they made.
But did it surprise you what you had said and how it was quoted?
It certainly surprised because I had said it in the context. I also said it in my judgment in work that the religious places which are notified under the Archaeology Act, you can't move a single stone without the permission of the ASI. And therefore, while upholding the provision in the Work Act, insofar as the sites and the archaeological ASI are concerned, we permitted that the religious activities would be permitted because the statute itself permits. But there can't be any alteration, addition in such structures without the permission of ASI.
Absolutely.
But it was bloated out of proportion and without any relevance.
Yes, and it was followed by a shoe being hurled at you in the Chief Justice's court, which for us is in a way for lawyers or people who've studied law such as me, the sanctum of everything that holds sacred for us. You were very calm even that day. What was running through your mind?
Firstly, I didn't know that attack was something to do with what I am alleged to have uttered in the court. I just heard a voice, and then that man was, that advocate was standing in the corner, and he said he had thrown it at Justice Gavai. मैंने गवई साहब की तरफ भेजा. So then I just ignored it and asked the lawyers who were present before me to proceed further with the matter. I didn't. That was a decision I had taken at the spur of the moment because at that moment I thought that it is not a matter to be worth taken note of, and I should proceed with the matter. And in the lunch recess, the registry asked me that person was taken in custody, his shoe was also taken. I said that release him and also gave him his shoe so that he doesn't have to walk barefooted.
That's a little bit of humor. Shoe was given back to him, though I think he got his moment in the
Maybe, yeah. If you are happy with that, let him be happy.
No, I think, do you believe there needs to be a stronger law? Can there be a law to prevent social media from speaking the dangerous things that it does by picking up things out of context?
No, some time back only I said that it is for the legislature to take into consideration and stop this menace of.
Can they control the social media? Will they be able to?
The technology is a boon.
Yes.
Yeah. But this technology, if it is being misused, the government certainly, if legislature is brought into place, it can be controlled.
It can be. All right. So that's a good warning for everyone who is actually at the bearing the brunt. I think one very interesting thing you mentioned is morphing of videos. I'm seeing there's a new trend in the Delhi High Court of all the actors coming before the Delhi High Court for relief, whether it's Karan Johar, Ajay Devgan, Kajol, because they're getting relief because their pictures are being morphed, Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, and they are put forward. Now there are these judgments from the Delhi High Court that this trend should stop. I wonder why they don't go to their own court in Bombay High Court, but that's another story. What are your days now going to look like, Justice Gavai?
At the moment, I'm just relaxing.
How are you relaxing, Justice Gavai? What do you like doing in your pastime other than law?
Now, for last 2-3 days, I have no time because all of you are.
Yeah, we've swarmed here.
And then we've been attending dinners, the official dinners, and fortunately there were foreign delegates, so I knew all of them, so I spent time with them also. Spending time with my law clerks and juniors. We'll take a call after some time as to.
What do you enjoy doing in your time, some time that you'll get? What are the hobbies that you like?
I like traveling.
Yes,
I like traveling
wonderful.
to hills as well as to the beaches.
Wonderful.
To the forest.
Wonderful, okay.
For the wildlife sanctuaries in Vidarbha, they are very close to me and Justice Bobade, so we used to go there regularly when we were practicing at Nagpur.
Very nice.
So I think I can revive all those things apart from doing some other work because they say that you can't keep your mind empty.
Yes.
You need something for your mind to work also.
Yes, but I think a razor-sharp mind like yours is not going to be empty. Are you going to be taking on arbitration soon, Justice Gavai?
I have received certain offers for arbitrations and even consultations, opinions.
Yes.
For the at least 10 to 15 days, I just want to cool off.
Yes, of course.
Then I will take a call on.
What about your family life? Do you spend a lot of time with your family, your child?
No, unfortunately, after becoming a Supreme Court judge and after becoming a judge in the collegium also, I've hardly been in a position to spend my time with my daughter or my son.
Yes.
But I look forward now.
Yes, yes. And your children, are they keen to be in the profession or are they keen to follow their grandfather?
My daughter, she's trained in law. She has done LLB, LLM and PhD also.
Oh, amazing.
She is teaching in the National Law University.
Okay, very nice.
And son is too young to take a call.
Yeah. In fact, I've asked his son, hopefully he'll come and speak some words on Justice Gavai. Extremely sweet. He's around here taking pictures of Justice Gavai. Very sweet in the 9th standard. Let's see if I can get the shy Jyotiraditya to be here. Even as I'm speaking, the other unit is walking in. Justice Gavai extremely busy, but I'm not going to let him go till I ask him some more questions on what lies ahead. What is on your bucket list, Justice Gavai?
I said I would like to travel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are
I
there
have also I would like to spend some time with the tribals in my own district in the Ghat area. Try to do some work for them. And rest I will decide as the time comes. Yeah.
What is the legacy that you want to be remembered for in your tenure as a judge of the Supreme Court and Chief Justice?
I think the work that I have done in last 3 years on environment, I have delivered about 18 judgments, 18 main judgments, full-fledged judgments on environmental issues.
And 300 judgments authored by Justice Gavai.
300 as a judge of the Supreme Court and
Court, yes.
around 35 to 40
As his Chief Justice.
So around 340.
My God, 340 judgments, amazing.
So, I could substantially contribute to the environmental law. Apart from 18 judgments, I might have passed hundreds of orders over the last 3 years. And then the judgments which I have passed insofar as reforms in the judiciary are concerned.
Yes.
Yeah. I have passed various judgments insofar as the recruitment as judicial magistrate, insofar as recruitment to the post of district judge.
Yes.
Then the experience required on so many various issues. Then regularization of the service of the court managers.
Yes.
Then about the pension to be payable to the High Court judges. I was surprised that some of the High Court judges after retirement were getting pension of 8,000, 15,000.
Which I wanted to ask you, how much are judges paid? Is it enough?
You can live a decent life, but if you start comparing yourself with lawyers, then you are unnecessarily...
Absolutely. So that's why maybe there is a discouraged, there's not, people are not very encouraged to join the judiciary.
Those who are, doing extremely well financially, there's a reluctance on their part, at least in the cities like Bombay.
Yes.
But fortunately, I could get some of very good lawyers recently to be appointed who, though had a very, very good practice, they decided to sacrifice and join the judiciary.
Like you said, it's a sacrifice. Because you never know, especially with the... I personally feel it's extremely unfortunate, this growing trend of besmirching the judiciary. It started, I remember, in 2017 wholeheartedly when unfortunately there was a press conference of certain judges with the Judge Loya case.
In one of the bungalows.
Yes, in one of the bungalows. I think since then I have also seen a particular trend of trying to threaten the Chief Justice, intimidate the Chief Justice. Whether it was, I remember Justice Deepak Mishra, the same names I mentioned, he was actually told by Mr. Sibal, this case cannot be heard, the Ayodhya case, before the elections. It was in 2018 December he said this. So there's a very commanding, intimidating tone that is also used now with the judges. That respect, that honor, that should be there somewhere by these senior advocates and others seems to be missing, Justice Gavai.
I do agree with you, but I have not faced any such problem in last 6.5 years.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. I'm very glad to hear that. And my last question is going to be, like I asked you just before this, what is the one thing, the environment cases you want to be remembered for? What is the one thing that you hope should happen in the future that you're looking for in the judiciary?
Environment is a subject dear to me. So I'm sure that you're talking about the air quality in Delhi.
Yeah.
So let us hope for some good orders in the future,
yes.
which will make Delhi a livable city.
Will you? Do you plan to continue living in Delhi?
At the moment.
At the moment. But does Bhushan Bhau want to go back to Maharashtra?
No, I will be going back to Maharashtra.
Yes.
On and off.
On and off. All right. So we have Justice Gavai with us very much in Delhi for some more time. Justice Gavai, the viewers of Republic TV, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And it's been a pleasure to interview you, to understand from you what led to your judgments. And like you said, the majesty of law always needs to be upheld. We go with that sentiment on this show, leaving you with that. Thank you for watching this show.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला। MDH
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात।
वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है?
अरे मेरी राजा,
राजा आरती और मसाला।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Now, ladies and